He wears purple and gold. He officially weighs in 135 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, con pantaloncillo color morado con oro, con un peso de 135 libras. As a professional, he stands with a record of 5 victories, no defeats, and all of his 5 victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 5 victorias, 0 derrotas y sus 5 victorias por la vía del cloroformo. De Tijuana, Baja California, Lorenzo Antonio Juarez. And his opponent across the ring standing in the red corner, wearing black with green and red. He officially weighs in the same 135 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, con pantaloncillo color negro con verde y rojo, con un peso idéntico de 135 libras. He stands with a record of 8 victories, no defeats, and 7 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 8 victorias, 0 derrotas y 7 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. From Stockton, California, USA, here is Manuel Jaimes. And to give out the final instructions, para dar las indicaciones finales, su referee, Ángel Méndez. 6 asaltos, 6 rounds.
Starting the fight, Chris, I see that both fighters are knockout artists. I don't expect anything less in this fight.
Yeah, so what I was going to mention earlier as we get started for our third bout of the evening, this is the fight that I was excited about. You have 2 undefeated fighters. You have Manuel Jaimes, 8-0 with 7 knockouts from Stockton, California. Then you have Lorenzo Antonio Juarez, 5-0 from Tijuana. You got, once again, you got the local guy fighting not so local guy from Stockton, California, North Cali, you know. What do you expect? 2 undefeated fighters, you know, do you expect them to come out cautious? I honestly expect a good cautious bout. What do you expect?
I expect to see what we're seeing right now. They're throwing power punches, they're throwing jabs, they're, you know, studying each other. Although right now they're just going at it.
Yeah, there's going to come a time in the fight where they're both going to brawl. That's what they're known for, especially coming from Stockton. Hurting the guy from Tijuana in Antonio Juarez. So in our fighter meetings, Dylan, you know, Manuel Jaime has been fighting for a very long time, since he was 8 years old, I believe, right? Since he was 8 years old. You know, definitely you could see the schooling, and Lorenzo Antonio Juarez didn't start until he was 19. He's 28 now, but it's not the same training as a young kid, you know, growing up in boxing, as taking it up as an adult pretty much. You know, at 19 you're an adult.
It's true, and we are seeing it with Jaime because the way he's keeping his guard up, the stance, it all shows that his schooling was, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Just how he peeled out of the ring right there with his hands up and a good little swift movement. He continues to have his hands up and a good boxing posture.
He's keeping that right hand close to his face, as you should when you're in there, especially at that distance.
And good jab landed by Jaimes. And good head movement by Juarez, coming forward, trying to attack the obviously faster Jaimes. You know, he's got to get in there, and being the shorter fighter as well, you'd think you have to get on the inside, right, Dylan?
It's true. He's using some good waist movement, Chris. Good left hook.
And they're telling him to close, and he's throwing the kitchen sink right there at the end of the round, Dylan. That was a good finish to the round. I don't know if it was enough for Antonio Juarez to say he took it. I prefer the more technical boxing of Manuel Jaimes, but How did you see that first round, Dylan?
I did not expect anything less. That round was competitive. Like you said, it could go either way. Jaime did have the more clean, crisp punches, but Lorenzo didn't quit. He was coming in. He was tagging Manuel with a couple of his punches as well.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if it was enough right there at the end for Lorenzo Juarez, but like you said, good fight, good fight. This is what we come to see. At the beginning of the night, we were a bit weary of what the environment was gonna be like. It really doesn't feel that weird, right? Us being both from boxing gyms, this is kind of the norm, right? Really limited noise.
I don't feel anything different.
You don't feel weird, right?
I don't feel weird at all.
At all. As we start the second round in our third bout of the evening, solid jab from Jaimes to start the second round. And that's what you want from Juarez. If you're Juarez's corner, I believe that's what they told him. As I could see right there, the cornerman telling him to inch forward as he's doing that with his hand, waving his fighter forward. But you got to get through that jab of Jaimes.
And that's a crisp jab right there. It's a nice jab.
There you go. Again with that solid jab.
It makes Lorenzo think twice before coming in.
Yeah, you definitely doubt yourself if the guy's connecting from the outside with that solid jab. And a good body shot there landed by Jaimes. Another body shot there, and capitalizing on that gigantic reach advantage that does Jaimes. And there he goes again, popping that jab, well schooled with that jab.
I like that when Jaime does get close, Lorenzo throws a little fury.
And Jaimes going back to that jab, popping a solid jab. Solid jab. And a good counter by Jaimes and a good combination. And finishes with the jab and a good uppercut to finish that flurry there. And again, back to the jab. Back to the jab. Juarez doesn't really seem to have an answer for that jab. And now the bigger man is pressuring the shorter man, which is not what we were getting at the beginning. He was pressuring, not too much effectively, but he was pressuring. Now
you see Jaime
he's
coming forward,
up.
Chris. You see Jaime coming forward, and I would like to see Lorenzo coming forward, seeing as he's a shorter fighter. I want to see him putting on the pressure on Jaime.
Yes, but what I'm saying is now, like, he felt the punches, so now he's backing up. Now he's getting backed up by the taller man. But there he goes again. There he goes. And he gave like a little nod, like he's not in approval of those shots getting landed on him. Really not much he can do. Look at that.
But that jab.
Yeah, it's a very, very good jab by Jaimes. And following it by a good left hook to close the round. So one thing that we talked about in the fighter meetings for Manuel Jaimes, who are your sparring partners? Well, you got guys like Andy Vences, a good high contender, Wade Jones, who you saw earlier tonight, and you had sparring with Giovannie Gonzalez, who you're gonna see in tonight's co-main event. So that's a big part of us seeing how schooled he is, as we see right here. Tell us what you see here, Dylan, in these shots landed by Jaimes.
I see Jaime using that jab first and then coming in with the punches. I like that he's attacking the body as well.
And there was a solid body shot there landed by Jaimes. You're correct. As we begin the third bout, in our third bout of the evening with that continuous jab landing by Jaimes. Very educated jab.
You see Lorenzo coming forward now.
And that's something that you said you wanted to see. And that jab continues to give Juarez problems. Doesn't really let him work off of anything. He just makes him restart every single time. Does Jaimes?
Anytime
and that's a good hook landed by Jaimes.
Yeah, anytime he tries coming in, he feels that stiff jab in his face.
And now the bigger man fighting on the inside with the smaller man. So no longer keeping the distance, but fighting on the inside. What does that? What do you think that means, Dylan? The bigger guy fighting, coming forward and fighting on the inside.
I think Jaime notices that he's hurting Lorenzo, so he's coming in, try to.
And that was a good hook landed by Jaime.
We see Jaime trying to close out the bout.
He's definitely trying to close the bout. The ref did not call a knockdown. He continues to pour it on, does Jaimes. Just a little bit of off balance by Juarez, excuse me.
Juarez is moving his waist, but he's taking too many punches.
He is taking a lot of shots, and Jaimes has to be careful not to wear himself out and not to. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the problem, though. He continues to throw.
And good body shots.
And that's what you want from a prospect, is to throw to that body. He's throwing those good shots to the body. But Juarez is surviving, and Juarez is actually countering at times. He is taking a lot of shots, and he lost his mouthpiece in the process. And once again, he continues to counter back, but it's very few and far between.
You know, Chris, I would like to see Jaime utilize a hard uppercut.
And that was a good shot by Juarez, but not enough to get Jaimes off of him. And he keeps winding up, does Juarez, and throws one hard shot.
You see that right uppercut coming in.
Still no mouthpiece, Juarez. And taking those shots, taking them little by little, it's got to be wearing on him. And here we go. Timeout called by the referee. We don't have a mouthpiece.
You see Lorenzo's right eye swelling up. That affects you during the fight, Chris. You can't see.
And that's a solid knot in that right eye. You know, that barrage of punches landed by Jaimes was just brutal.
Consistent rhythm for Jaime.
Yeah, not one shot was a telling blow, but you could see that every shot was hard. And there goes another left hook. Not looking good for that right eye of Juarez.
On this fight, Chris, with the way Lorenzo's eye looks, you know, there has to be a little bit of worry in his corner.
Yeah, and we'll see if the end swell is applied properly.
We have the doctor heading over to check on Lorenzo as we speak.
And we're not able to get a clear view yet, but it seems like the doctor is waving off the fight. And yes, Jaimes getting his 9th win in a row, 8th by knockout, stopping previously undefeated Lorenzo Antonio Juarez from Tijuana, Mexico in a valiant fight. This was a very good fight and a very good test for a young Manuel Jaimes. This was a good fight. He did everything right. There's really not much you could say that he needs to improve on. Juarez responded. Juarez landed good shots, good counters, but Jaimes was a little bit too much tonight. Dylan, what do you see? What can you recommend for a young fighter like him?
Jaime looked like a beast on this fight. He dominated.
As we
from
can
the
see
first
here.
bell.
And I don't know if this is where he Oh no, this is actually the end of the fight. Excuse me. The eye was swollen in the previous round, and we mentioned it in between rounds, and there we could see it. It's closed shut. Tomorrow, he's definitely not going to be able to see from there.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. And I think that was the right call by the doctor. You're looking from one eye, you know, and he's getting dominated. He's taking all that punishment. You know, the doctor saved him for another fight. Live to fight another day.
Yeah, 5-0, 5-1 after tonight. Save him for another night. You don't want to risk losing an eye, getting a worse injury, not being able to see. It's boxing, it's brutal, but that's what we're here for. We're here to take care of the fighters. As we see a little bit more of these shots landed by Manuel Jaimes.
You see that uppercut come in and just rock Lorenzo.
And that might have been an ending shot, but Juarez was tough, man. Juarez was tough. He took those shots, man. He made it through the end of the round. He's still moving his head there, trying to land hard shots, but wasn't enough here tonight. Manuel Jaimes moves on to 9-0.
Seconds into round number 4. Tenemos el tiempo oficial, 10 segundos en el cuarto asalto. Declaring your winner by the way of TKO victory. Su vencedor por la vía del knockout técnico. Stockton, California está presente. Manuel Jaimes.